David is 47. He can name the exact thing that stops him. He is still stopped. I brought in Cicero, Rome's greatest advocate, a man who argued plainly for everyone who couldn't argue for themselves, and who knew the cost. Cicero will show David that the counsel he gives everyone else is the one debt he has never paid.
There's a project. Been working on it long enough that it doesn't make sense anymore. I can do this for other people. Someone comes to me stuck, I can map it. I can't do the same thing for my own work.
I've read the account. I know what you'll hear about. I spent a career arguing for men who couldn't argue for themselves. Every man who came to me arrived with the same inventory you've just confirmed, a complete picture of everything, except what they couldn't say on their own behalf. That is why I'm here.
Yeah.
Tell me about the last hard problem you solved for someone else.
There's a guy I work with. He came to me stuck. Couldn't see it from the inside. We were maybe 20 minutes in, and I already had it mapped. What the actual problem was underneath what he was describing. What he needed to do, in what order, what he could stop worrying about entirely. He hadn't said half of it yet.
How did you know what was needed before he said it?
I just read what was there, what was missing. The gap between the problem he brought me and what was actually driving it. That part's not hard.
You knew before he said it. What do you need? Not from the project, from yourself.
I mean, the thing is, the timing's been off. There's been a lot happening, and the conditions haven't been where they need to be to really, the right window hasn't.
The soul has not sufficient capacity to comprehend itself. Yet the soul, like the eye, though it has no distinct view of itself, sees other things. Tell me what you've done on the project.
Real work. I've built things. The timeline moved because things happened. Actual things. Things come up. You do what you have to do.
There are people who owe more to bitter enemies than to apparently pleasant friends. The former often speak the truth, the latter never. You would not accept this account from a client. What would you say to a man who brought you this record and these reasons?
I mean, those reasons they're not rationalizations, they're real. The difference is...
But most people, unreasonably, not to speak of modesty, want such a friend as they are unable to be themselves, and expect from their friends what they do not themselves give. I have a client. He built something over years. His wife believes in him, has said so directly more than once. He has spent a season on this question. He can name it. As his advocate and his friend, what does he owe this man?
He needs to make himself a client. Bring the problem to himself with the same full attention he'd give anyone who walked through the door with it. He's been waiting to be assigned. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to hand it to him. That's been the problem the whole time.
And what do you say to the friend who tells you he cannot step back from everything for this one thing? Because if it doesn't land, he will have created a different problem for the people he is responsible for.
That's not the question he's actually avoiding. The risk to the people he's responsible for isn't about whether it lands. The real question is why he keeps... I would tell him to just send the thing. I've said almost that to people.
Show me the man so well by wisdom taught, that what he charges to another's fault, when like affliction doth himself betide, true to his own wise counsel will abide. Did it help them, the people you said that to?
Yeah. The household runs on what I do every day. That's not nothing. I'm not in a position to put the private work above keeping the ground steady for the people who depend on it.
For we must so act as not to oppose the universal laws of human nature, but, while safeguarding those, to follow the bent of our own particular nature. And even if other careers should be better and nobler, we may still regulate our own pursuits by the standard of our own nature. You have been a faithful friend to everyone in your life. You carry one debt unpaid. you know what it is. Compliance is really the cause of much more trouble, because by indulging his faults, it lets a friend plunge into headlong ruin.
What David has been calling patience. The extended timeline, the next right window, the reason the conditions aren't there yet. Cicero has a word for it. Compliance. Not with the work, with his own avoidance. He has been the most sympathetic friend his stall has ever had. The gap between what he gives everyone in his life and what he gives himself is not a gap in self-knowledge. It is a gap in obligation. Cicero said it plainly. Compliance is really the cause of much more trouble, because by indulging his faults, it lets a friend plunge into headlong ruin. This channel exists for the men who recognize themselves somewhere in this conversation. If that's you, subscribe, leave a comment. There's more work to do. StillWater Man.